Hello and welcome. I am Romashika Singh.
And I am Angie Santalo, and this is the premiere of our new Lynn News show, iPulseLive.
We are students at Lynn University, dedicated to reporting the truth about our town, state, and country, and of course, our school.
We begin our show with a report on the recovery from Hurricane Ian, which has killed more than 100 people in Florida. Weeks after the hurricane hit, many places are still in ruins, homes destroyed. Our reporter, Jonah Cole, reports on the situation on the ground, 1 week after the hurricane had hit.
Definitely felt left out.
Mounting frustrations in some hard-hit Florida communities decimated by Hurricane Ian, as Governor Ron DeSantis praised the efforts of local, state, and federal officials.
Folks who are in difficult circumstances now because of the storm, just hang in there.
But more than 1 week since the disaster slammed into the state, survivors are growing more and more frustrated with the governmental response from the local to the federal level.
I have no income and no car, and I went in to apply for FEMA and just found out that somebody's already applied a fraudulent claim using all my information and my social security number. So I have to call the fraud hotline now to see what's going on.
They're losing their patience, many facing long wait times on the phone or lines stretching for hours outside of FEMA disaster recovery centers, trying to get the help they so desperately need. Many are still in the dark or relying on generators. 2 weeks after landfall, according to poweroutage.us, more than 53,000 customers had no power statewide.
And you're just bypassing all of this.
And then there's the community of Harlem Heights, where some feel they're being completely overlooked in the federal response.
I don't have to live on Sanibel or Fort Myers Beach to be one of the people that they care about. Because to me, that seems like that's all they care about at this point.
I'm Jonah Cole for iPulse.
Residents tell us the situation has improved, but the cost of Hurricane Ian is expected to be between $28 and $48 billion, which would make it the most expensive hurricane in Florida's history.
When it comes to hurricanes, Florida summer began normally, hot days and nights and mild storms. Perhaps we should have suspected it was too good to be true. But then came September 18th and hurricane season really began as Hurricane Fiona hit nearby Puerto Rico. On September 18, Puerto Rico faced the season's first major hurricane. The powerful storm ravaged parts of the Caribbean and Puerto Rico, leaving thousands without power and water. Hurricane Fiona was being described as a monster Category 4 hurricane with sustained winds of around 130 miles per hour. Fiona was blamed for at least 5 deaths in the Caribbean and 1 death in Canada. Let's hear from the residents of Puerto Rico. The storm has taken everything away from us, and we have nowhere to sit or sleep. This is something incredible that we have never seen before. Federal Emergency Management Agency had been assessing the damages since Tuesday, September 20th.
Power and water, that's our number one priority. It's going to take a while to understand truly the extent of the damage for repair.
On Thursday, September 22nd, President Joe Biden spoke with FEMA officials and the governor of Puerto Rico to discuss ways to help.
Hundreds of FEMA and federal personnel are now there, including search and rescue teams, bilingual disaster survivor assistance teams, and U.S. Corps power restoration experts.
I am Romanshika Singh for iPulse News.
Meanwhile, another storm was developing over the Caribbean. It was named Hurricane Ida, and it picked up strength as it passed over Cuba and entered the Gulf of Mexico. Florida was on alert, reports Clifton Haskin, and then it happened.
Hurricane Ian made landfall in Florida's southwest Lee County near Fort Myers, almost a Category 5 storm. It was 3 p.m. on September 28th and headed for Tampa in Hillsborough County. Florida was about to take a beating. Hurricane Ian had caused over 7,000 National Guard members to be deployed, along with heavy operational repair engineers and heavy equipment operators. The storm had caused multiple events to be canceled, and nearly all South Florida school districts had been shut down. The Arts Miss rocket was rolled inside the Kennedy Space Center, and the Tampa Bay Lightning have rescheduled their preseason game against the Nashville Predators. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and Bonnie Wise, Hillsborough County Administrator, were on top of the situation.
Some areas there will be catastrophic flooding and life-threatening storm surge. And so if you're on Florida's Gulf Coast, from Naples all the way through the Tampa Bay area and some of the counties north of that, that could be something that happens. And it will certainly happen in some parts of Florida's Gulf Coast.
We're issuing a mandatory evacuation order for Zone A, recommending a voluntary evacuation for Zone B, and opening emergency shelters. All this will take effect at 2 o'clock today. We did not make this decision easily, but this storm poses a serious threat, and we must do everything we can to protect our residents.
I'm Clifton Haskin for iPulse.
The hurricane came on land with full force on the night of September 18. Reporter Ari Davis watched in safety from his home in Melbourne, Florida.
Holy, how is this possible?
In fourth place of the most powerful hurricanes to hit Florida, Ian struck Wednesday and was very close to becoming a Category 5 hurricane, bringing with it a nightmare of destructive winds, potentially lethal flooding, and a downpour of rain.
The parking garage that we're still in right now with no power, is it was buckling, it was shaking.
As the sun comes, residents will get their first look at the damage Ian caused. Many residents are stuck inside their homes where they unfortunately decided to stay during the storm.
Caloosahatchee River has flowed through the bottom floor of this house, and we're safe on the second floor.
Over 2.5 million residents were ordered to evacuate before the hurricane. Those who didn't will have to wait.
We will get to them as soon as we can, as soon as the winds die down, the water subsides, and the roads are cleared.
As the carnage of Hurricane Ian continues its way across Florida, the Orlando area and the East Coast parallel are getting a lot of rain and wind that came with Ian.
We were already expecting about 12 to 20 inches of rain. Some places could see up to 30 inches. So stay home, stay safe.
This is Ari Davis with iPulse TV.
Meanwhile, we here in Boca felt almost nothing. Yes, the rains and winds were heavy, but nothing like the storms elsewhere. Lynn classes were canceled, and students waited anxiously for the hurricane to pass. Valentina Morello reports.
As Hurricane Ian was present in the west coast of Florida, Lynn University was minimally hit. Still, as it was under tropical storm warning, campus had to close and cancel regular activities, leaving some students concerned.
Well, at first, I wasn't that scared of it, and then, I watched, the Weather Channel and, TikTok, and then it kind of started, freaking me out a little bit, and I felt like we had to prepare and all that. Me and my roommate were, over-preparing.
Originally, I was nervous because I've never experienced a hurricane before, but luckily we didn't get hit head-on, so it was kind of just stormy and windy, but nothing crazy.
However, the Housing and Residence Life team was able to provide a source of entertainment and distraction for the students living on campus.
Actually, we came down to this room and we played games. We played Taboo, and while we were playing it, I didn't even think about the hurricane at all, and it didn't freak me out anymore.
We played Taboo, we played Slapjack, and I showed everyone how good I am at Slapjack.
The multiple activities done were able to showcase the different ways and how the university can provide for its students in the different times of need and stressful situations.
It shows that in times of need, they will provide entertainment to their students.
The games made me feel so much better. I got to hang out with my friends, I got to eat good food, meet new people, and play games that I've never played before, so it was fun. The games is an example of how Lynn really cares about each individual student and make sure that they feel included always.
This is Valentina Marlo, iPulse TV News.
Things are back to normal now. Classes are in session, clubs are functioning. You may consider joining one. Sport events are taking place as scheduled. iPulse reporter Clifton Haskin recently attended a women's soccer game against the Florida Tech Panthers.
With the World Cup just 2 months away, soccer has certainly gotten more global attention. A good-sized crowd was in attendance at the Lynn University women's soccer matchup against the Florida Tech Panthers. Many athletes have goals of one day representing their country on the world stage. The game began with the Fighting Knights in white maintaining possession for the majority of the first half. The Fighting Knights struggled to get through the Florida Tech Panthers defense on their scoring opportunities. Neither team was able to capitalize on any of their chances on both corner kicks and throw-ins. This left both sides ending the first half scoreless. The second half started with Lynn continuing their offensive pressure from the first half. The Knights were given a penalty kick late in the game, but the Panthers' defense shut down their opportunity. With 5 minutes left, the Panthers scored the one and only goal of the game to walk away with the win. I spoke to soccer fan Matthew Feldman to get his thoughts.
I think it was unfortunate, quite frankly. We were doing really well. It was 0-0 the whole time. First round was amazing. The first half we kept up the pressure, didn't let many opportunities in, we just couldn't get through. Second half we were doing the same, but we let slip one goal at the 5-minute mark left in the match, and there's just no recovering from that. It was just unfortunate. I think it's the same level of the Olympics. If you can play in the World Cup, that's essentially career making, because if you can just get in there, that's every single person who watches soccer, every single person will see you.
I'm Clifton Haskin for iPulse.
Again, the score 1-0. Lynn's head coach for women's soccer, John Markey, explained this year they have a lot of new players who are slowly growing together, and he says he is excited about the future. Now, when it comes to men's ice hockey, Lynn recently won 4-3 against the University of Miami. Again, reporter Clifton Haskin, who has done play-by-play announcing for Lynn's ice hockey team for the past 2 years.
On September 18th, the Lynn University ice hockey team held their first game on home ice since the rink caught on fire at the end of last season. This was also the first game showcasing their brand new gray home jerseys when last year's home jerseys burned in the fire. The first game of their 2022 to 2023 season was against the Florida Tech Panthers. Lynn ice hockey controlled early on and quickly gathered 2 goals within the first 5 minutes of the game. This control maintained throughout the first period as Lynn quickly scored 2 more goals, closing out the period with a 4-0 lead. For the rest of the game, the Fighting Knights dominated in their home opener and walked away with a score of 9-0 to win the game. I spoke to forwards Luca Vicino and Eddie Valencia, who both had multiple points during the game.
Obviously it was fun. We ended up playing FAU a lot, Tampa last year a lot of times, rough games, but it was fun to win a game. Everyone was going. It was good. Obviously it sucked last year. Couldn't really skate. We all took a couple months off. It just sucked, but it felt good to be on home ice, have our locker room back and everything.
I have pretty good chemistry with my line. Both Luca and Dean, I think we work well together. I believe we all got multiple points, so yeah, definitely helped each other out there. Definitely nice. It was crazy what happened last year, but hopefully, it was a nice start to the season, so we'll see how it goes.
I'm Clifton Haskin for iPulse.
Our final story comes down to food. Oh yes, food. The folks at Mary's Kitchen at the university's cafeteria are always looking to improve. This year, they added new food options to their menu. Diane Dollar reports from Mary's Kitchen.
Fall semester's cuisine started off with a bang.
So far, I really like it. They have a lot of options, and every time I'm bored, I just come here.
I think the cafe is really good. I think compared to other schools, it's top tier.
After analyzing a student satisfaction survey from last year, the Lynn University's dining hall has stepped up their game.
They kind of changed some stations a bit,
Like they have different styles of food, and a lot of people, they complain about the food, but I love the food here, and it's been great so far.
The cafeteria has mixed up their menu to celebrate food from all around the world.
Today's Oktoberfest Day, and sometimes I'm feeling homesick and waiting for Christmas to come around so I can eat German food, but today I was able to eat German food, so it just made me feel really good.
I think that they changed a little bit of the menus, and I think that's pretty well.
I usually like getting a sandwich for lunch, and I really like their burgers.
And while students are enjoying the new changes, there are still a few things that they would like to see improved.
I would love the caf to be 24 hours, definitely.
Switch it up a little bit more. It gets a little repetitive from lunch to dinner.
More of these. More pretzels.
But one thing is for sure, the dining hall is listening to students and making some great changes. This is Diane Doler, iPulse News.
And that's our show for now. I'm Angie Santalo.
And I'm Romanshika Singh. Join us every 2 weeks for iPulseLive, our next broadcast on November 4th.
And keep in mind, if you see a story you think we should tell, contact us at ipulse@lynn.edu, or you can catch us all the time at ipulse.lynn.org. Stay well and have a great week. I'm Angie Santalo.